Is it dark? Yes. Is it twisted? Yes. Does it have extremely dark themes? That is also a yes. What more you could ask for? Blood? Blood was shed too. The messiness, the stickiness, the juiciness, the drama. I got you. Hi wonderful people and welcome back to my channel Bookkraves. I'm Giselle. How are you going? What's up? What's the scene? Yes, 2022 was awesome. I had an amazing reading year and I read some really amazing books, and it was so difficult to narrow down my top dark romances. There are two things that are my weakness. One, a good interracial romance. Two, and a dark romance. Give it to me, I will read it. I love them. They are my go-to. Now, mind you, I read over 220 books this year and counting because we're not in January 1st yet. So I am going to let you know my top dark romances of 2022. No particular order, but anyhow, let's get into these books. First up, Give Me More. I was blown away by this MMF. So we are introduced to these characters in book one, Praise. Now, I wanted to recommend Praise. Praise is up there on the list, but Give Me More delivered more. We are introduced to Drake, Hunter, and Isabel. And Hunter and Isabel invite Drake into their marriage and turn this traditional marriage into poly shenanigans. Drake is openly bisexual. Hunter is straight like a pin, or so he taught. And Isabel, she's all for it. And so you have these three individuals in this relationship trying to make things work. Everything starts off like an MFM, but ends being an MMF. And I'm like, the story is told from a multiple perspective, which I love. So you really got into the mind and heart of these characters. Love it. Love it. Listen, all the hype, the TikTok hype about this book is legit 100. I'm not about that hype, but this one I stand behind. The Ritual and the Sinner. Oh, so many dark themes. So many dark themes, but oh, so good. These two books are not for the faint of heart. Yes, you have like all the BDSM and stuff, but there are other things in the book that is not for everyone. Mark my words, heed the trigger warnings in these two books. I kid you not. I also read her other book that was released this year, Sabotage. It wasn't my cup of tea, but The Ritual and the Sinner. I spoke about these two books already. So this is your college romance, but it is not your typical college romance. Barrington University, it is the home of the Lords, a secret society. And what they do is they prepare the next generation of the Lords. The guys particularly, they have to do these individual tasks. Some might die, some might have to leave, but others, once you are successful and you complete your 3 years, you get a nice treat in your 4th year of university where you get to choose your chosen one, and that's a female. You can use that female however you choose to. In The Ritual, she is forced. She doesn't really have a choice. The second one, in The Sinner, it's the same thing, but she was being played with, she was being toyed with, and it was like a game. And Lord knows what else was going to happen to her. That's a heroine from The Sinner. But it's what these guys will do for their chosen one. They will go against that society. They will go against everything that they know to get these females, y'all. Again, This is not for the faint of heart. This book, it is more than that. All the secrets and lies. I spoke about this book in my May wrap-up, A Vow of Lust and Fury. This is part 1 of a duet. Part 2 is awesome. Part 1 and 2 goes hand in hand. So yeah, in A Vow of Lust and Fury, we meet Gio and Amaya. Oh my goodness. This is your age gap, mafia, forced arranged marriage. Listen, name a dark team, it is in this book. Amaya, she's basically sold to her uncle's enemy. Like, she doesn't have a choice. She has to go. She decides to run away. And who finds her to protect her before she's killed? Boom, Giovanni. Giovanni's like, yo, this is mine. You harm it, I kill you. Gio, he's a grown-ass man. Gio, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to force you. I'm going to wait for you to come to me. You are going to crave me. Like this man, he played with her heart, with her mind, with everything down below there. He did that. Listen, lies and deceit and betrayal. We are here for that in A Vow of Lust and Fury. I wasn't expecting to like ruthless creatures this much, but it just works, right? I'm into the mafia with po, guns blazing, action here, action there. I didn't get as much of that in this book, but I got other aspects of it that I love. The blurb for this book gave absolutely nothing away. It's only when you read it that you really get into what this story is about. So in this book, we meet Cage and Natalie. Cage, he has a particular rank in the mafia, and so he's sent to kill Natalie to tie up loose ends, find out what happened to her fiance so that they can get rid of the fiance. Natalie's fiance disappeared. She didn't know anything about it. She didn't know where he went, what's happening, and so she was left brokenhearted. Finally, when she decides to move on, in comes Cate, all dark and brooding and mysterious, and she's immediately drawn to him. Cate comes. Cate is like, okay, he plays his part, but he gets caught in a web of attraction to her. The Mac busts and everything blows up into their faces. Ugh! And so this is why I didn't miss the guns blazing, because it was just too juicy. So I had a really adventurous reading year. I read a reverse harem. I have acquired the taste. So the book that I'm talking about is Poison Ivy. And in this book, we meet the jock, which is Victor. We meet the artist, Torsten, and then we meet the stepbrother, Cassius. At first I thought this was like your stepbrother romance, but in come the best friend. We have a heroine with a disability. The disability is clearly depicted in the story. However, this does not deter the guys from wanting her, using her, loving her, becoming attached to her. Their families are also involved in criminal activities. They have their own criminal organizations. The heroine, Fergie, oh my goodness. What was done to this girl initially was like, you know, a stepbrother, then it went to bully, then it was like enemies, then they became lovers, then they came back enemies, because it ended on a cliffhanger. I'm like, no, this author didn't, but she did. Marvelous themes, great story, love the heroine because she goes through a lot, but she overcomes. What more you could ask for? Blood? Blood was shed too. Riley's biker. Like, huh? Yes. A MC book needed to make it inside here because I'm all about the MC life. Riley's biker. We have a secret pregnancy. Yes, it is an MC, but we also have an age gap. And we have dirty talking. So listen to this. We have Coyote and Riley. Coyote, he's part of the MC. He's a nomad. He's just, you know, drifting. And one night he meets Riley. They hook up. Next day when he wakes up, Riley's nowhere to be found. What else again is nowhere to be found? His jacket. How do you take an MC jacket? Riley did that And so he was on the hunt for Riley, only for Riley to be within their rival MC. And then you have all the shenanigans and all the drama happening in that story. When he found out what Riley was hiding from him, yo, don't feel sorry for Riley one bit. Riley looked for her own drama. Consumed a darkish romance of the physical copy, right here. Now, this book took me by surprise. Totally wasn't expecting some of the darkness in this book. It is not extremely dark compared to other books that I've mentioned, but this one has some themes. It has some, and I'm like, At first, I wasn't feeling it. I started it off, and it's like, oh, it's just with a firefighter. But listen, this story, it grabs you from the first page. It starts off with a wife dying, with a friend staying by her best friend's side throughout this difficult time, and a husband being angry and hurt and wanting nothing to do with the best friend. But after the wife dies, he abuses and takes advantage of this friend. However, this best friend always had feelings for him, but she never did anything because why? Her best friend had liked him and claimed him. The darkness in this book is darkish. For people who are now getting into dark romances, this is the book that you should read. You guys knew that this book had to be here. So the book that I'm talking about is Savage Bloodline. When I read this book, I pre-ordered, so it was just 17 stories in one book. However, now you have to read the individual stories. I'm going to put up the cover of my favorite stories within this anthology. These are the ones that I love, and I would say my top two favorites, because I can't do one, are Enzo and Primo. And here's why. The heroines are badass. They will do whatever they need to do. They will cross on the dark side. They have no issues doing the dark stuff, which I love. This book follows the DeLuca crime family. The head of the family, the Don, was murdered, and now they're trying to figure out who betrayed the family. All of the stories are interconnected somewhere because they're all the DeLuca family, and they all are dark, they're all criminals, and they all did what they had to do to get what they wanted. You all know I am for the morally gray character, right? Give me the underworld, the underbelly of normal society. Give me that. Lifeline is the total opposite to what I usually go for, but I enjoyed this book. Now hear me out. Hear me out. In this book, we meet Special Agent JJ and O'Brien. Special Agent JJ, her dad was on the force. He was great. He was phenomenal, and she wants to follow in his footsteps. But she's not just any regular officer. No. Special Agent JJ, she is a behavioral analysis, and she's that on the team. And O'Brien, he's there. He's the senior. He's the head honcho. He's accustomed going undercover, and so on her first day, she is roped in to certain things. Yes, you have the criminal element, you have the cartel coming in, but it's O'Brien's dark tendency, what he does, and the way that she tries to heal him, and he just corrupts her. You know, I've read books by Michelle Hood. I've recommended books by Michelle Hood on my channel. This is a first for me. The messiness, the stickiness, the juiciness, the drama. I got you. So this book, I have not read the previous books. This is book 3 in the series, God of Wrath. Is it dark? Yes. Is it twisted? Yes. Does it have extremely dark themes, that is also a yes. And that is why this is one of my favorite books of 2022. Jeremy and Cecile as a couple, I like. They are polar opposites, but that just makes everything good, especially when you know you have a bad boy and you have like a kind of lady girl. You know how those things work. God of Wrath, huge, huge, yes, love the story. Will highly recommend that you read this book. So guys, these are my top dark romances that I read in 2022. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have read any of these books, girl, sis, bro, let me know. If there were any of your favorite of 2022, you let me know. I will see you in my next video. Take care. I'm really looking forward to 2023.